Guys, in this video I'm going to be teaching you how you can use functions in Python or in any other language, but mostly in Python. Yeah. So what are functions? Before we could start knowing how to use them. So functions, they are just, or a function, it is just a block of code. Yeah, in software development, it is just a block of code that is executed only when called, and if it is not called, that block of code will not run. Yeah. Okay, so let us see how we can start using functions in Python. So to start using a Python, you need to first define using the def keyword, and then after def, using the def, then the name of the function. So in this case, we are going to write an adding function. So this adding function, that is how we create this function. You define it using the def, and then the name, and then what's happening to my, then these brackets, and inside these brackets, it's where we pass arguments. They are like variables that are used by the code, by this piece of code, okay, in one way or the other. So let us see a function without arguments. So let us have, then inside down, it's where we put our code, our block of code. For example, let us print this is the add function, okay, like that. Okay, this is the add function. Then after there, let us press Ctrl S to save. Then we run our file, pynet.py. Are you seeing we have run our file, but this piece of code, our function, it has not been executed. We are not seeing like this one. This is the add function. We are not seeing this one. So remember what I told you. This is just a piece of code. A function, it is only run when called. So let us call it and we see. So we call it by using the add, yeah, like that, add, then the bracket, like that. Then after there, we run our program, pynet.py. Yeah, are you now seeing? This is the add function. So let me show you how you can use variables, or how you can pass arguments. So to pass arguments, for example, we might have we might pass x. This is the number, or we can pass x and y. We just declare them. Yeah, we just declare them without giving them the values. But we can also give them values. But let us just declare without giving them values. And if we do that and we run our program, are you seeing? We are going to generate errors because this adding, are you seeing? Type error adding, this function is missing two required position arguments, x and y. So it is missing these arguments. So what we need to do is to provide them. For example, let us provide 3, and then let us provide 5. Yeah, and in order to use these variables in our function, what we just need to know that when we want to use them, we just need to use these variables, the names, yeah, their name. So for example, we can print x plus y, like that. Then it is going to return a sum of x and y, So if we do this, Ctrl save, we run our file, I think we are getting 8. Okay, 3 plus 5, yeah, I think it is 8. So there is another way. I think this error, this one, yeah, addition, missing two required positional arguments. I think this error, we can remove it. For example, a user can have a decision, can have a choice whether to provide those arguments or not to provide. Okay, yeah. So let us see how we can make this function accept arguments or not accept arguments, or it can work without the user providing the arguments. okay, these arguments. So let us see. In order to do this, we are going to use the arg. So we are going to use asterisk, then args for arguments, okay, for arguments. So this asterisk, it represents that there are multiple arguments, okay, multiple arguments. Are you seeing tuple? It's a tuple. So multiple arguments. So in order to access these arguments, we access them as the way in like how we access a variable, we access values in a tuple, okay. So this is how we can access them. For example, we can we can do the same print. We can print what and what. So let us do this. Print. We want to print args, but we want to print args at what? At 0. Then we want to add that one, args at 1, at the position 1. Okay. So we are going to add the first argument plus the second argument. Are you saying? We are going to add them. So for example, let us first remove them, yeah, like that, yeah. So let us not provide. If we run, are you seeing out of range? I think the value is out of range. So we can put like we can remove this li by using the try, accept, try, like that, yeah. The try and the exception. We can use exceptions, yeah. I think you studied about them, the exceptions, yeah, in order to remove this error, yeah. For example, we can test if these values are there, if the arguments are greater than. So for example, let me do this. If args dot length oh no, I'm using dot length, like that, dot length, yeah, is greater than 1. So it must be yeah, it is greater than 2. We want 2 variables. If it is greater than 2, then that's when we are going to run this code. And if they are not greater than 2, the arguments, they are not greater than 2, okay, we are not going to run. So let us make it if they are greater than 2 or equal to, okay, because here we only need 2 arguments. We need the first one and the second one, okay. So else, yeah, like that. Then we use the else. Let us use else what? Print the what? The what? The arguments must be more than, yeah, like that, more than 2 or greater, like that, yeah, or greater. So the arguments must be more than 2, yeah, or greater than 2, yeah, like that, yeah. And this one will run if the provided arguments are not greater than or equal to 2. So let us run the code again. So by the IC, the arguments must be more than 2 or greater. So let us provide the arguments. For example, we provide 2 and 7. I think we are going to get 9. And when I Control S to save, and I run my program again, I see we are getting 9. Okay, so that's how we can use functions. And a function can call another function. Okay, so for example, we can have another function here. If my new, like this one, my new, this my new can print this is the start of the program, like this. This is the start of the program. So this function, we want to call this function at the start of this this function. So how can we do it? We can call it, we can go inside our function and we call it. For example, we can call my new, like this, my new, and then we press Ctrl S to save. And when we run our program, are you seeing this is the start of the program? So that's how we can call functions. Okay, but remember, this function that we are calling, it must be global. okay? It must be accessible, okay? So for example, we might have another function inside here. For example, we can have diff another, so like this, and this one is going to print this is the another function, like this. This is the another function. So this function, it is not global. It can only be accessed inside this function, okay? So in order to access this function, it must be outside, it must be global, okay? So as you are seeing, are you seeing the highlighting? This one, it is not purely colored, okay? Are you seeing? Yeah, it is somehow dark, which means that it can only be accessed in that function where it was created inside it. So this one, even if I type another in order to access, are you seeing, even VS Code is not able to recognize that function when we are inside this adding function. So but when I try to learn how to use these extensions, the Python, the VS Code extensions, they are very good. They help you to realize what's going on, okay, and to improve your skills. But when when I try to access another, it is being shown by VS Code. Are you seeing another, which means it is accessible in this function that we are in. And when I try to access it outside the code and I try to print another, I see it is not accessible. So it is only accessible in the my new function, okay? That's how. There are many other functions. For example, we can have another function, another way of creating a function, and this one, it is just used to create simple functions. For example, the add function that can add only two numbers, and this one we use the lambda keywords, and these functions are referred to as lambda functions. For example, we create them using lambda, then like this, then we can just lambda, then we can do something. So we can print this is the lambda function, okay? This is the lambda function, yeah. But how can we access it? Are you seeing, if we press Ctrl save and we run, are you seeing it is not running? Why? Because it is a function which has no name, it has no name. So in order, and we know that in order to use a function, we must call it using its name. So this one does not have a name. So how can we access it? We can access it by giving it a name. How can we give it a name? We can store it in a variable, for example, called the lamb. Remember, you should not use keywords when creating variables. You cannot use keywords like the lambda when making your variable, when creating a name of your variable, okay? So this one, I'm going to name it lamb, like that. So now I'm able to access this function by using the lamb variable, this one, okay? So I can now access it. Are you seeing variable? It is, are you seeing diff lamb, okay? This is the name of our function and it returns something, okay? Are you seeing? It is now converted into a function, our own way of creating a function, okay? So now we can access it by typing lamb, like that. So let us run our program again. Are you seeing? We are now able to run. This is the lambda function. So how can we use variables, arguments in this one? So to use arguments, we can just provide them like this, x, y, like that. And when we Ctrl save, and when we come here to use our lambda function, Ctrl Z, let me remain with this lambda function, then we break the line, then we format it. So we want to use, so then we provide this one. So we are going to return x plus y, okay? So the sum is this one. So Let us run our program and see what's going to happen. Okay, so if we run, so lambda contains, okay, we have not provided the arguments, so we need to provide the arguments like 3 and 4, like that. We shall get 7, so let us, so I think the sum is 7, so we are getting it. So that's how we can use functions, play around with them. Okay, play around with these functions, they are really great. So play around with them, know how to use them. Okay, know how to use them efficiently in order to make your code clean. Okay, so that's it.